Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is Tapestry Crochet. This is a symbol from a band called DeadMou5. I'm not familiar with it, but my son-in-law loves it, and my granddaughter, who's 10, now absolutely loves it. So I made this for a Halloween bag for her. She wanted DeadMou5 on her Halloween bag, so I could not find any Tapestry Crochet DeadMou5 Grafgans. So I found a Mickey Mouse Grafgan and I turned it into DeadMou5 all by myself. So not the easiest thing in the world to do. It's absolutely not perfect, but this is what we're going to be doing today. So this is the back of it. Now I, for the most part, tried to weave everything in, but there's a few stragglers. So the back is not going to be perfect. It's not like our numbers. It's not like we can just weave everything in because we have 3 colors that we're working with. But let's do the best we can. I got my thing. I just need to get my yarn. You're also going to need a 6mm hook. So with your white, you're going to need to make a slip knot and chain 28. That's my 28. All depending on what you're making this for, you can choose to go into the back bumps or not. I'm not. I'm actually going to make a whole bunch of little squares and then sew them together for a throw for the couch. That's what I'm doing. So I'm not going into my back bumps. I'm just going to go into the regular stitches. I'm going to do 27 back up because 27 is how many working stitches you have. The 28th one would have still been on your hook. So 27 single crochets takes you right back to the very beginning. So chain 1 and turn your work. For the next 3 rows, this is all you're going to do with the white is 27 single crochets. So you'll have 4 rows altogether of just straight up white 27 single crochets. So I already chained one, turned my work. So we're going to incorporate the black. So we're going to do 10 single crochets. Now make sure you're getting this first stitch to keep your sides straight. This is my 10th, so I'm just going to pull up a loop. Now unfortunately my black is worsted, so this is another reason I didn't weave. So I'm going to add my black to finish the stitch. So I'm going to pull down on everything. Because I'm using the black, I can weave these two pieces, but I can't weave with the white because it's just so thin. That's why I had some stragglers at the back, and I had... So it all depends on what you're doing. If you can actually get away with weaving without it looking horrible, then weave. With your black, you're going to do 6 single crochets. So I'm weaving right now because my black is really thick. That's my 6, so I'm going to pull up my 6th stitch, but I'm going to finish it with my white. This is where I have to stop weaving. So for now I'm just going to let it hang. I will deal with it later. I'm going to do 11 single crochets with my white. So because we're going to have one side that's nice and one side that's not so nice, I'll show you how I get around that. Chain 1, turn your work. So I've got this stuff on this side. This is just my straggler. You can weave him in later with a needle, or you can do what I do. If you already know tapestry crochet and you just need the pattern and you don't need to know all this stuff, then by all means do it how you don't need to do it my way. I'm just trying to teach how to do it my way so it's easier for beginners. We're on round 6. We're still on just black now. We're not going to incorporate the red. So we're going to do 10 single crochets. So that's my 10. I'm going to pull up the loop. I'm going to take my white and I'm going to put it here and hold it with my thumb. Because all the crap has to be on this side. This is the crap side. Which is why I'm leaving this straggler to remind me. This is the crap side. That's the good side. So I take my lead and I put it over to do my color change. So I've pulled up a loop. Now I take my black and I'm going to finish the stitch. So yes, I've come across a whole stitch. Try not to skip that stitch. So now you're going to have to move that black out of the way to get into this stitch. And with your color B, you're going to do 8 single crochets. So just leave your white hanging down here. It's not going to go anywhere. Because you can't really weave in on this side. So this is my 8th stitch, so I'm going to pull up the loop. I'm going to bring my black around and hold it with my thumb. And now I got to go back to the white. So I'm going to take the white. Now try not to pull it. You got to keep it really loosey-goosey to finish the stitch. So it's going to be looped right across, but in our next row we're going to weave that in and no one's going to see it. So just leave your black hanging and do 9 single crochets to the end. Chain 1, turn your work. So now we're on the good side of things. Round 7 is going to be 8 single crochets. This is my 8th stitch. I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to take my black and I'm going to finish the stitch. I'm going to pull down and I'm going to weave everything. So there's my white that I dragged across from that row previous. I'm going to weave that in too because my black is thick enough that I'm going to be able to do that. So I'm going to take the white and the other white and probably this little black straggler guy over here from 2 rows ago, and I'm going to weave all of it in as I go along. So with my black, I'm going to incorporate red too in this row. So with my black, I'm going to do 2 single crochets. So make sure you're still getting into this white spot. Make sure you don't, it's really easy to skip stitches when you're changing colors like this. So that's 1. This is my 2nd black. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to grab my red. Now the red we don't do much on. It's just a, oh, I'm going to have a knot already. The red is just a mouth. And then we're done with it. So I'm going to finish that stitch with my red. Now my red's pretty thick too, so I'm going to weave with it. So pull down on everything so everything's snug. With my red, I'm going to do 6 single crochets and I'm weaving in all the crap at the back. Because I chose to do use a thicker red for this project. The white is the only thin 4-weight. So this is my 6th. I'm going to pull that up and I'm going to finish it with my black color. I'm still weaving. With my black, I'm going to do 2 single crochets, weaving in all this crap. Well, I can't get my black straggler from 2 rows ago, but so that's my 2nd stitch with my black. I'm going to finish that with my white. I'm going to leave everything just hanging there. I'm not weaving anymore. With my white, I'm going to do my 9 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. From here, don't turn your work. From here, turn your work. It stops this from getting all messed up if you turn it the other way. So this is my crap side. So this would be round 8. We're going to do 9 single crochets. This is my 9th stitch. I am bringing up the black. So I'm going to fold my white down and hold it with my thumb. Grab my black, and I'm going to finish that stitch. With my black, I'm going to do 1 single crochet. So I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to fold the black over now, hold it with my thumb, and I'm going to finish that stitch with my red. With the red, you're going to do 8 single crochets. This is my 8th one. So I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to bring this over and hold it with my thumb. I'm going back to black. So I'm going to bring the black over. I'm not pulling tight on this black. There's lots of lead. There's lots of loosey-goosey here. I'm going to finish that stitch. So that's loose. You don't want it to be tight or all this would curl. With the black, you're going to do 1 single crochet. So I'm going to go in and pull up a loop, and I'm going to bring the black over and hold it with my thumb. Now you got to dig way down deep and get your white. Loosey-goosey, finish the stitch. With the white, you're going to do 8 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. So this is the good side. Make sure all your stuff isn't tangled. We are on round 9. You're going to do 7 single crochets with your white. That's my 7th stitch. I am going to finish it with my black. I'm going to pull down on my white. I'm going to weave. With my black, I'm going to do 1 single crochet. So now I'm weaving in all this crap back here. So I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to finish it with the red. This is, I think, the last of the red business. So I'm going to pull down on everything, and I'm going to hold it all up near the top because I'm going to weave all that in with my red. With your red, you're going to do 10 single crochets. So keep it all loose because you're weaving in quite a bit, like 3 or 4 pieces of yarn back there. This is my 10th one. I'm going to pull up a loop. My red is sticking. I'm going to finish that with my black. Pull down on everything. With my black, I'm going to do 1 single crochet. I'm still weaving in all the crap. As you can see, I weaved in all the crap at the back. This is my 1 single crochet, which I'm going to finish with the white. Pull down on everything. And with the white, I'm going to do 8 single crochets to the end. Wow, I thought I screwed it up. I just miscounted. Chain 1, turn your work. This is where we get to cut off this red, cut it off fairly long so that it can get weaved in. And we are done with the red. No more red. So now we're just doing 2 colors. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Round 10 is going to be 8 single crochets. That's my 8. I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to bring this back, hold it with my thumb. With my black, let's get my red out of the way. We'll worry about that red later. With my black, I'm going to finish the stitch. With the black, I'm going to do 12 color bees, which is my black. Loosey-goosey. This is my 12. I'm going to pull up a loop and I'm going to bring my black over here and hold it with my thumb. I'm going to get my white. I get my red out of the way. I'm going to get my white. Loosey-goosey, I'm going to pull it across and finish the stitch. So it's loose, it's not tight. That's very important. And then with your white, you're going to do 7 single crochets to the end. Chain 1, turn your work. Back to the good side. These 2 white spots, I don't know why it's happening. I really tried to change it so that it didn't happen, but it's there too. So, but nobody's even noticed it. I've showed this to so many people and nobody's went, why is there 2 white spots there? So round 11 is on the good side. We're going to do 7 single crochets. That's my 7th one, so I'm going to bring up my loopy loop. I'm going to finish it with my black, and I'm going to weave in my white, my other white from before, and I'm going to hopefully snag those in there. If I don't, I can just use my needle and weave them in there. With my black, I'm going to do 12 color bees. 12 single crochets with your color B. That's how I should be saying it. So I'm going to pull up my loop. My 12th stitch, I'm going to finish it with my white, and I didn't even try to weave in my red. I'll just use a needle and do it at the end of the project. With your white, you're going to do 8 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. So if you do need to untwist a little bit, you can just hold the white or hold the black and turn it, and that'll untwist you. But don't turn it so much that you get twisted again. Okie dokie. So yeah, so you can just take a needle I'm just going to quickly show you. I mean, we might as well clean it up as we go, right? And then just weave in and out. I like to split the stitches. That way I know it's going to hold. Don't go all the way through though, because you don't need to see this on the other side. And then just cut off your excess. And the same with the black. It's not perfect, but that's how we kind of keep it nice and clean. We're on number 12. There's 24, so we're halfway done already. So we're on the crappy side, because I got my black hanging here. So we're going to do 8 single crochets with your white. It's my 8th stitch. I'm going to pull my white over, hold it with my thumb, and I'm going to finish the stitch loosey-goosey with my color B. Color B is going to be 2 single crochets. So I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to pull my black over here. I'm going to pick up my white again. And I'm going to loosey-goosey finish the stitch. With my white, I'm going to do 2 single crochets. So we're doing the eyes right now. So on my 2nd stitch, I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to bring my white over. Grab my black. Finish the stitch. With the black, I'm going to do 4 color Bs. On my 4th one, I'm going to bring over the black. I'm going to get my white. And I'm going to finish the stitch. Make sure you're not missing any stitches. I'm going to do 2 single crochets with my color A. I'm going to bring the white over, hold it with my thumb, get my black, finish the stitch, and then with my color B, I'm going to do 2 single crochets. So that brings me to the edge of the face. I'm going to bring my black over there, hold it with my thumb, get my white again, finish the stitch, and then do my 7 single crochets to the end. Chain 1, turn my work. So there, we started the eyes. One more round of eyes. On the good side, 7 single crochets. This is my 7th stitch. I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to finish it with my black. Pull down on everything. I'm going to weave in my white. I'm going to do 2 color Bs. I'm going to finish that 2nd one with my white. I'm still weaving, even though I'm using the white, I'm still going to weave the black in. It's only 2 stitches. So I'm going to do loosey-goosey, 2 single crochets, and on the 2nd one I'm going to go back to my black, finish the stitch. I'm going to do 4 single crochets with my black, and on the 4th stitch I'm going to finish it with my white. Weaving in my black, I'm going to do my 2 single crochets with my white, finishing the 2nd stitch with my black, 2 single crochets with my black. On the 2nd stitch, I'm going to finish it with my white, And with my white, I'm going to do 8 single crochets to the end. I am not weaving in. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 14, easy peasy. You're going to do 5 single crochets with your white. On the 5th one, you're going to bring it over, hold it with your thumb. You're going to get your black. You're wondering what this is? We're starting part of the ear. So your black's way over here. You're going to have to bring it so loosey-goosey to finish the stitch. So you're going to, this black's going to be blocking a stitch right there, but you're just going to have to make sure you get into all of them. So keep this loose. Don't want to pull tight on that. With the black, you're going to do 18 bees. So just make sure you're getting in to where the black is going to block a stitch. This is my 18th stitch, so I'm going to hold my black. I got to go all the way over here and get my white. Loosey-goosey, finish the stitch with my white. So again, that's loose so that it doesn't make my project curl. And then I'm going to do my 4 single crochets with my color white. Chain 1. Turn your work. Round 15, it's going to be 4 single crochets. So on the 4th one, you're going to finish it with your black. Pull down on everything because we're going to weave all this crap in at the back from our previous row and from this one. You're going to do 20 black. So this is my 20th stitch. I can put up a loop. I'm going to finish it with my white. I'm not going to weave in my black. I'm going to do my 3 single crochets with my white to finish the row. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 16, you're going to do 2 single crochets. So my second stitch, I'm going to fold it over and hold it with my thumb. And I'm going to loosey-goosey finish the stitch with my black. My black is covering a stitch, so make sure you're getting into this stitch. That's my black that I just pulled over, but there's a stitch behind there. You're going to do 22 black. This is my 22nd stitch, so I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to pull my black over. Now this is my white, is way over here. So again, loosey-goosey. I'm going to get my white and I'm going to finish my black. So this seriously has to be loosey-goosey. And then 3 single crochets with your white. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 17. You're going to do 3 single crochets. So on your third stitch, I'm all crooked. I'm going to pull up a loop and I'm going to finish it with my black. So now all of this crap is going to get weaved in as I go with my black. Your black is going to be 8 single crochets. Now we got to put the space in for the ears. This is my 8th stitch. I'm going to finish with my white, if I can find it. Can't be that hard, I'm weaving it in. So I'm going to finish my 8th stitch with my white. I'm going to weave in my black with my white and that white piece from before. And I'm going to do 6 single crochets with my white loosey-goosey. This is in between the ears. So this is my 6th stitch that I'm going to finish with my black. With my black I'm going to do 8 single crochets just like the other side.
Oops. I was not weaving that in.
And my last stitch. 8 stitches. My 8th stitch I'm going to finish with my white and do my 2 single crochets. I guess it doesn't matter if you weave the black in so close to the edge, but chain 1, turn your work. I weaved it in there. I don't think it really matters. Getting there, almost done. So we're going to do 2 single crochets with your white. This is the 2nd stitch, so I'm going to pull up the loop, bring my white across. I'm going to finish that stitch with my black. With the black, I'm going to do 8 single crochets. Still doing the ears. So that's my 8 single crochets. I'm going to bring my black over, hold that with my thumb. Get my white, loosey-goosey, finish the stitch. With my white, I'm going to do 6 single crochets. That's my 6th stitch. I'm going to bring my white over and loosey-goosey pull my black across and finish the stitch. Do 8 single crochets with your black. That's my 8. I'm going to bring up a loop. Oh, sorry. Bring my black over. Pull my white in, finish the stitch, do my 3 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 19, we're going to do 3 single crochets. So on the 3rd one, I'm going to finish it with my black. I'm going to weave all the crap in. I'm going to do 8 single crochets with my black. This is my 8th stitch. I'm going to pull up a loop, finish it with my white. I'm going to weave in the black. I'm going to do 6 with the white. That's my 6th one. I'm going to finish with my black. Hold down on everything because I'm still weaving. So you can see a little bit of the black through that because the white's not very thick, so you can see a little bit of the black. But it's between the ears, so I'm not super duper worried about it. You're going to do your 8 single crochets for your ears. This is my 8th one, so I'm going to pull up a loop and finish it with my white and do my 2 single crochets with my white. Chain 1, turn your work. $20. This goes to 24, so we're just about there. 3 single crochets with your white. So we're coming in a bit now for the ear. So that's my 3rd stitch. I bring my white across. I'm going to finish that stitch with my black. With my black, I'm going to do 7 single crochets. That's my 7. I'm going to bring my black across. I'm going to grab my white and I'm going to finish the stitch. With my white, I'm going to do the 6 single crochets. That's my 6th stitch. I'm going to bring my white over, hold it with my thumb, and I'm going to finish my stitch with the black. And with the black, I'm going to do 7 single crochets. That's my 7. I'm going to bring my black over, grab my white, finish my stitch. I'm going to do 4 single crochets with my white. Chain 1, turn your work. Just about finished. 21, round 21. You're going to do 5 single crochets with the white. There's 5. So I'm going to grab my black. I'm going to finish the stitch. Now I'm going to weave all this crap in at the back. And I'm going to do 5 single crochets with my black, weaving in everything. So this is my 5th stitch. I'm going to finish it with my white. With my white, I'm going to do 8 single crochets. So yes, I am weaving in everything at the back still. That's my 8th stitch. I'm going to finish that with my black. I'm going to do 5 black. I'm going to finish that with my 5th stitch with my white, and I'm going to do my 4 single crochets. I'm going to have to twist myself after this. Chain 1. Alright, I gotta unweave. Gotta untwist. Chain 1. So we're done with the black, and I don't personally want to weave in the black across my white, so I'm going to cut it off with quite a bit of a tail. I know you can't see because it's black. There, it's got a bit of a tail, so I'm going to weave that in after I'm done. For the next 3 rows, you're just going to take your white and you're going to do 27 single crochets to finish this bad boy off. So that is my 3 rows, so it matches this. So the reason I went around the outside with the black is because that's what I'm doing for the blanket, but you don't need to do that because, well, I mean, I don't know what you're using this for, whether you want to do it or not. I will show it in the video in case you're going to do the same thing I'm doing. So this piece here, now try to split the yarn when you weave. And by that I mean go through the pieces of yarn so you're grabbing all the small little pieces. Just so if this gets washed, it's going to get all tangled and knotted up. Well, not knotted, but it's going to get all stuck because you went through the thread, the yarn, instead of just weaving around it. So do this as many times as you can. I'm going to put 2 in here because I need to make sure I make corners. So I'm going to put a second stitch in there. Now hopefully that hides the white. I'm going to have to weave in this other stuff. So wherever, there's no stitches on the side. So wherever you're going to get, should be 2 per row that you can get into. So you're not going to have a count. My dog is running around freaking out, and I don't know why. But it's very annoying. So, continue to stick your hook in wherever you can stick your hook in, weaving your stuff in at the back, because you certainly don't want that to be noticeable. So when you get down to this corner, you've got to make it a corner. So do your 2 single crochets, chain 1, and do 2 more single crochets in that same space. That makes that a corner. So it's going to be a lot easier turning this into a blanket if you've got 4 corners. So you can follow these stitches along the bottom. So the bottom part here is your initial chain. It's going to look like it's stretching out a bit, but it'll all go back into shape once you block all of these. So, that's blocking if you're just using this to make a Halloween bag or anything like I'm going to do with one of these, but also for when this gets made into a blanket, I'm going to want to block all these first, get them into whatever shape I want, and then sew them together. So I'm on another corner-ish. I'm going to go into this big space right there. I have a knot here from where I started my slip knot and my chain. So I'm going to put 2 single crochets. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to put 2 more single crochets in that same space to make the second corner. So just continue doing that all the way around, making sure you make your next corner, and then over here I'll meet you back here to show you what to do here to make this corner. So I'm back here at the top where I started, and right here where I did my first 2 stitches, I'm just going to go back in there and I'm going to do 2 single crochets. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to go to the top of that first stitch and I'm going to fasten off. That's how I made my second corner. So you just need enough to weave with. So it's seriously out of shape, and I could probably keep pulling it out of shape 15 million times. But that's the good side. So you can't see the black a whole lot here where I weaved. But weave in anything that you didn't get weaved in. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. I don't own a sewing needle anymore, apparently. There it is. This was, I think, from my initial... My battery's gonna die again. Anyway, I'm gonna go through here to the rough looking side, and I'm gonna weave. There we have it. Oh, I gotta weave that in. I'll do that later. There we go. 2 of my DeadMou5 tapestry crochets. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.